I've had rock bottom seasons in business where cash flow was tight and all the pressure was on me. I believe that we are given the exact experiences and relationships and environments that we need to become the person that we're becoming and that we're meant to evolve into. It's like when you remove all of the labels and the identities, you're left with just this pure intention and love that I think every human has. I think you have to have a connection to that within yourself to then not go seek those things because you now no longer need them because you are connected to yourself so deeply. Embodied CEOs don't chase trends. They pave the way. They lead from within, moved by purpose, unshaken by noise. When you are the source, you do not need permission. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you guys are having a great week. Today's episode is going to be a little bit of a heart-to-heart. I'm feeling it today. Before I get into that, I would like to make a little announcement that is going to have nothing to do with the content. So my really bad practice marketing of making this episode have to do with the content is not where we're at today. I'm super excited to share that we just released a brand new product, which is really geared for those of you guys who want to work with us, but you're not ready in terms of investment. Even though our Activate offer is actually for somebody who has never sold their offer before, and is an incredible offer to help you validate your offer. For those of you who that investment you're not able to do and you really want to work with us, I have created a 30-day brand reset, essentially, called Unignorable. And in those 30 days, we're going to reset your messaging, your content strategy, and then we'll actually create what the strategy is for your lead generation and for your sales conversion. So basically your brand blueprint over 30 days. And the idea is, in order to be successful with anything in your marketing, you have to be able to stand out. I think that when I look at an inventory, everybody today that I talk to, who isn't yet where they want to be and hasn't gotten that momentum yet, it really does come down to being able to stand out, being able to cut through the noise with their messaging, their offer positioning, what their actual lead gen offer is. People don't understand how important that decision is. And those are things that we decide for you in a strategy call when you work with us. And so this will be an experience where I walk you through my process. You will choose a lead gen strategy, like what the topic is, what the angle is, that is going to cut through the noise. So all the levels of your marketing, from your foundational messaging in terms of you having conviction, you having a message that you're willing to stand on a hill and die for, right? Your content, your topics, what your lead generation is, what your small priced offer is, what your sales and offer positioning is, all of that, making that cut through the noise. So it's a 30-day experience called Unignorable. And for this first round, I am going to actually be the one, there's a weekly group call, and I'm going to be the one facilitating it. So it will be a combination of material released at the beginning of the week and then a live support call basically for implementing, and you'll walk away with that standout messaging. It's the thing that I thought of that I know will move the needle for everyone, right? Is like being that unignorable brand is more important than anything else in your marketing, and it makes all of your other marketing easy. So if you're interested in that, go to embodymarketing.com/unignorable. And you can get in on this first round, which will be a live cohort. I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to do it live again with a coach on our team or how I'm going to do it. All I know is I'm doing these 30 days live. We kick off on August 3rd, which is a Monday, and we'll go for 30 days. And so if you would like to be a part of the experience and be a part of the round that gets to do it live together and with me, I highly recommend you jump in on that. So all right, you guys, that was my announcement at the beginning, which won't have anything to do with the content. I am having one of these days where there's just a lot on my heart. And, being a content creator for a long time, I think it's as much healing for me to get to share it as it is for you guys to get to listen to it. And so I'm not sure who this episode is more for. It could be just for me, and hopefully it's helpful. But I'm having one of those days where there's just a lot on my heart, and it feels like this is the only thing that I could record. And I want to record a podcast today. And somebody close to me said the other day, who works for me, said, you don't really you're so strong. You don't really struggle. And, in your content, it's hard to show, to be relatable and show people the things that people struggle with because you don't really struggle. And I was like, is that true? Because I feel like I struggle. So do I put on a front that I have everything together, and do I have a hard time showing that I struggle? And, it's this balance, being a content creator, anybody on here who does it, this, you want to share and be authentic, where you also have to balance, when is appropriate to share things and when is not. And obviously, especially on the personal side, you have other people involved and just kids, and you want to be respectful. So it's a fine line, and I don't think I do it perfectly, right? But anyways, that comment got me thinking around, I want to make sure that I do share that I do struggle, that I am just like you guys. And so right now, currently, I feel like I am in such a season of duality. I sent that to a friend the other day who sent me a text and said, how's it going? And I said, it is such a season of duality because, and that I feel like is life so often. Because I currently am in a season in my life where I am navigating one of the most challenging seasons personally that I've had to yet in my life. And it doesn't really matter what that is. I know when people say that, everybody wants to know what it is, and it's it doesn't matter. I'm going through a season where it is asking me to trust in the unknown like never before and to surrender. And I believe that one of the reasons I am here, my soul is here in this life, is to learn that, is to learn how to trust myself, therefore God, universe, whatever you want to call it, more. And it's the hardest lesson for me to learn. I have a really hard time with it. So I am navigating a very challenging personal season. And a lot of people say that when you turn 30, what is it, your Saturn return or something? I'm 31, so I'm a little behind, but I feel like I am at the beginning of a new season in my life, a new evolution, and I also feel like I have no idea what it is going to look like, and that is so terrifying to me. And at the same exact time, I am experiencing record-breaking months in the business, incredible sales, incredible delivery. My team is the best it's ever been. I have this office downtown and the studio and the new business. And so it's this duality where one area of my life and my identity and me is crushing it. We're living the dream. All the manifestations, all the things that, I wanted this year is unfolding. Obviously not exactly how I always think it is. And I'm not even saying that it's easy, right? There's plenty of challenges in business. We are having incredible record-breaking months, which of course put pressure and logistical and operational challenges on the business. And I always tend to take on a lot. So there's always something, I have a lot of, not even pressure on me, just a lot happening. And then at the same time, I'm navigating this other side of my life that feels like it's a really low place. And so it's really a weird place to be, because I was in the office today, and this is why this is on my heart, because I guess I just want to be really real with you guys. That comment, I think I do show a lot of the incredible things in my life, because my life and my business is really incredible, and I have built success, and I have been extremely resilient in building that, but I'm not immune to normal human experiences. And I was in the office today, and I'm by myself in here today, and I was just witnessing how one moment I would go from wanting to like not work and just cry to like, okay, yeah, here's approve that email. Like, let me run this call for the client. I got to record a podcast. And just, I think everybody kind of goes through that in life where it's like life doesn't stop. Life doesn't stop and your responsibilities don't stop. And as an entrepreneur, especially with team and clients, and for me now 2 businesses and then my kids, it's like all of that doesn't stop for me to just navigate and feel, and I'm not the best at feeling. I'm working on it. And anyways, I was watching myself go from like this one place to this other and almost like be in my body and be in this experience of emotion and then like shut it down and move to my head and be like, okay, I got to get these tactical things done. So I wanted to bring that here because number one, I think it's very important for you to see that anybody who you look up to, if some of you look up to me as business owner, mom, whatever, who you look up to is really just a human going through the human experience, and the human experience is not easy. We learn our greatest lessons through pain. I believe that. And through contrast, right? We can't really understand the light and joy and all of those positive emotions without the contrast of the opposite. And I have for sure learned my greatest lessons through pain. And that's unfortunately the human experience that we signed up for. I don't know if it's unfortunately, it is what it is. So I want to, number one, connect with you guys in that way and then talk about how I navigate it. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I do not navigate this perfectly. Like, I am not showing up on this podcast episode giving you the 3 tips for how to navigate a hard season and still crush it in your business. Like, screw that. Because I am doing this so imperfectly because this side of things I am not very good at. I am not very good at slowing down and feeling things I don't want to feel. I'm working on it. And I'm rebuilding that connection with myself every single day and that trust with myself. And I'm realizing that the reason why I have such a hard time in these situations is because for whatever reason, I don't think I'll be okay. So I hang on to things and I can't let go because I think without that situation exactly how I want it, I won't be okay. Whereas in business, it's so interesting because it's like, I know that I'll be okay no matter what. You could drop a lawsuit on me. You could, have some big Facebook update that messes things up. Like, I know for a fact, 100%, that I'll be okay no matter what. But in my emotional body, I don't know that. Like, I know that logically. I can sit there and logically tell myself you're going to be okay and go through it, but that doesn't work. That doesn't work in the nervous system to be like, listen, nervous system, we're going to be all right. Let's logically look at this. I've tried. It doesn't work. So I also want to acknowledge that I do this very imperfectly. And so this episode is not me giving you completed, polished advice. It is me connecting with you in a real season of the middle of figuring things out and explaining what I do. And these are some things that I have learned recently because I think I used to be way worse at this. Like, I've come a long way in the last 3 or 4 years. So when I am navigating this duality, and of course this has happened many times, right? Like, we go through things, and like I said, business doesn't stop. Like, you can't just, I think not enough people talk about that as a leader. I mean, I do think it's true for any human, right? That even if you have a job, you still have to go show up. But especially as a leader, you can literally be like bawling your eyes out and then within 30 minutes have to be hosting a live call or a podcast and be fine and turn it on and then turn it off. And that is, I don't know if it's healthy or not, but it's the reality. It is the reality of a large amount of people counting on you. And that can be a lot. That can be very heavy. But also, sometimes I find myself in inner dialogue that makes me a victim to that, of like, I have to carry so much, and why can't somebody else do this, and nobody understands, and that's not helpful commentary. So then I go to the understanding that I chose this life. I chose to step into my purpose of leadership and to be a leader. And that is one of the things that comes with leadership, is even when you are struggling and you don't have everything figured out, you still have to show up, even if it's not perfect. And I think for most leaders, people don't actually expect you to show up perfectly, and I'm learning that. I grew up in an environment of we had it all together. Even when we didn't have it together, we had it all together. And that's kind of partly why I'm doing this podcast episode, because I'm trying to unlearn that. I'm trying to unlearn that you will still be loved and, cared for even when you don't have it all together. And I don't have it all together. So when I'm in these moments, here's some things that help me is, one, I'm very cognizant of the victim mentality and how easy it can get to spiral into that, and to allow my external environment to take power over my internal state, while at the same time I am learning how to actually not have resistance to emotion. I think that's the best thing I could describe. Is I realized a while ago that the most suffering and pain that we experience is not even the actual emotions themselves of grief, sadness, fear. It's actually the resistance to those emotions. It's my brain saying, I don't want to feel that grief because it's too overwhelming. And so I'm going to lock up. And what I do is go into the mental loop of why I shouldn't feel it, what I should feel instead, why it's going to be okay, and start analyzing. And I have to learn how to actually be in it without becoming it, right? Because those emotions are just a part of me. They are not me. So when I am in a day like today where there is grief and sadness, I am not grief and sadness, but there is a part of me that deeply feels that today, that the only way to actually move through it is to see it and feel it. And I don't like doing that. So I have to, like, for example, I drove here this morning and I could feel like it was just today just didn't start great. Like, I have these things that I need to sit with and process, but then I have all these things happening in the business, and it's like this collision of my body going, we need a second and we need to process this, and we're not okay with the reality that we're in one of the busiest months of my business. And there is a bunch of things that I woke up today to just a bunch of people that needed me. And there was this clash. And so what I did was I drove to the office, and I could feel it. I could feel it in my body, like I was not okay. And I sat in my car for probably 10 minutes with no phone. I turned the music down, and I just allowed myself to be with myself, to tried to allow the emotions to flow. I tried. And then I said, okay, and now we're gonna pull it together, and we're gonna walk in the office, and we've got a to-do list, and we gotta show up today. We may not want to, but we have to show up. So there's this balance of accountability, holding myself accountable, not becoming a victim, because it's way easier to be a victim. Like, it's way easier for me to blame and be mad at other people and other situations. And I could feel it. I could feel the agitation today. I was feeling grief. So therefore, it was easier for me to turn that into anger and agitation at others and external than it was for me to sit with that grief. So not become a victim. And then the third thing is balancing honoring where I'm at while still showing up to what I need to show up for. And then not being a victim to the fact that I have to show up, because that is the reality. And fully honoring the place of duality, the fact that both things can exist at the same time. I can, in one moment, like the human experience is just so wild. I can, in one moment, 1 hour, one part of the day, have like this extreme high of, holy shit, we're crushing it in business. This is so exciting. I can see the path to 10 million. Like, all these things fell in place. My team, our offers, our launch, all these things, like I'm super pumped. And then within the next few hours, I can be at this low of like fear and grief in the unknown. And honestly, as I talk about it and as I witness it, it's kind of a beautiful thing. It's like we want life and everything to be so black and white and so linear, and it's just not. It's just not. It's just not how it works. So that is how I navigate this. And I think, sometimes you have the low in business, and then it's like everything else is going so great on the personal side. And same thing applies. Like, you still have to show up to the business even when things aren't going great. And you still have to learn to allow yourself to experience those emotions that come up for so many entrepreneurs of rejection, failure, disappointment, anger that something isn't working how you want, while still staying committed to the process and the goal and the vision. And I've had those seasons in business. I've had, rock bottom seasons in business where cash flow was tight and all the pressure was on me. So it felt like. And same thing applies. Same exact thing of like, you can have one moment where you're at this panic, wake up in the night stressed out about how you're going to cover payroll, and then wake up and have to show up for the team or have to show up for your clients and show up how you want to show up. And I think, that's another thing is I'm doing a lot right now is connecting to the person that I want to be and that I already am, but I'm choosing to be her. And instead of focusing on, the fact that I don't know how some things are going to play out. The unknown is terrifying for me. I don't know about you guys, but it's just wild. Like, it's only I don't know if it's not in business, because I'm fine with the unknown in business, because there is just this part of me that knows I'll always be fine in business. But in other areas of my life, the unknown just terrifies me. And I think that these experiences, I believe everything happens for a reason. And I think that these experiences that I'm going through are giving me faith and trust, are teaching me faith and trust. I believe that we are given the exact experiences and relationships and environments that we need to become the person that we're becoming and that we're meant to evolve into. And so I try to look at it and go, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe, for giving me the relationships and these experiences and these reflections and seasons that are building the exact thing I need to get to the next evolution. I don't even want to say next level, because it's not always about the level, but to evolve. And we are here, I think, to continuously evolve. And I think especially for me, that's one of my biggest life purposes. And like when I feel the most fulfilled is when I'm growing and I'm evolving and I am changing. And sometimes though, it is not a fun experience, because you're like, wait, I have to let go of this whole idea of how my life was going to be, or version of me, or safety net, and basically jump off a cliff and figure it out. And that is what it feels like. And so for me, like not in business, but in other areas of my life, the unknown is terrifying. And I am being pushed, not gently, to fully lean into and trust the unknown. And I know the more I do that, the better everything's going to be. And still, it's terrifying. So if you are going through a season of duality, or I think a lot of parents experience this too, where like you have on one hand so much gratitude and love and fun being a parent, and then on the other hand there's like the hard parts of it at the same exact time, and the guilt of like, am I spending enough time with my kid or my kids and building the business, and like it's just constant like duality in life. So I guess I came on here today to share this, not with any takeaways, but to connect with you guys in knowing that no matter what level you're at, if you are growing, and I think a lot of my growth comes from my inability to accept anything less than exceptional. Not in a perfectionism way, but I have really high expectations for my life. And I think life is short. And there is no area of my life that I'm okay with being mediocre. And I really think that decision, and for me, it's not even a decision, there's no other option. It's how I'm wired. I am here for big impact, big growth, big evolution, big moves. That choice to pursue a life at that level requires walking through seasons where things that used to be can no longer be, for it to still be that extraordinary life. And that change and that evolution can be scary and painful, and that's a normal part. So for those of you who think I don't struggle, let me correct that and make sure you know I am human, and this is my weakness. Business is my strong point. Because my brain is my strong point. I am in that head all day, and I am learning how to be in my heart and be in my body more and have the heart and brain connection. Remember when I was on the podcast, like if you guys listened to it, I don't know, it was a few months ago, when I was talking about a trip I took, and I sat with the question of like, who am I when you remove all the labels? When you remove the label of mom and CEO and athlete and leader and all these things that I do. And I 100% get validation and love from things that I achieve. And not even just for other people, from myself. Like, I need that for myself to feel the validation for my own self. And I'm kind of unlearning that. But within that, you have to learn to love yourself outside of those things. And then ask, okay, who am I outside of those things? And this thought came to me the other day on that question. Who am I outside of all of these achievements? And it sounds so cheesy, but it came to me in a meditation, and it was like, at the end of the day, I think we are just love. Like, and it sounds almost cheesy for me to say that, but it's like when you remove all of the labels and the identities, you're left with just this pure intention and love that I think every human has. And anyways, I think you have to have a connection to that within yourself to then not go seek those things, because you now no longer need them, because you are connected to yourself so deeply. So I'm in the middle of that. I'm in, an evolution of that. And I also think like we're never done evolving. So this is just one season, and there will be the next thing. And even within these seasons, like there's weeks and even months that I'm like, I'm pretty good. I'm through it. I passed the level. And then it's like, nope, it's another layer. We're like onions. So I don't know if this episode was terrible. I'm sorry I didn't have the 3 things that you need to go and implement, but I wanted to just real and raw share with you that I experience these things and how I do, and how imperfectly I do experience them. And I will also say 2 more things I want to say. It's really easy in these times to fall into bad habits or like numbing. So I think this is why people turn to alcohol, to, drugs, even psychedelics. I think, masked as therapeutic are things people turn to, scrolling social media. And so I try to be, and I'm not perfect at it, I try to be super aware of that. Like when I am turning to those things, even work, when I'm turning to those things with the intention of not feeling and numbing versus actually being something that's in my best and highest good. Is it helpful? For me, I think scrolling is probably what I do that numbs. Like, okay, I don't want to sit here with myself and actually have to feel this, so I'm just gonna watch funny reels on Instagram or like inspiring reels or whatever. But also with that comes accountability for myself in the things that are really important, because right now things like meditation, my workouts, time with my kids, being present, time off my phone is extremely important. It's more important now than ever, because it's when you're in a time like this, it's easy to get off track of habits, of the life that you want. And so I think that it's important to constantly hold yourself accountable with love. And that's what I try to do. Be gentle with myself, but still be accountable. And every single day, my goal is basically, who is it that I want to show up as the leader, as the mom, as a human being? Who is that person? How does she show up? What is the energy? What are the thoughts? What are the beliefs? And then doing my very best to show up as her. And eventually the brain catches up and you become that person. And these seasons are really beautiful because you look back, you usually can look back on them and go, oh, I see why all that happened. What a gift. What a gift the hard was. What a gift the pain was. What a gift the fear was, because it taught me this. But when you're in the thick of it, it is sometimes really hard to be grateful for it, for appreciating it. All right, everybody. I promise we'll be back to marketing content next week. I hope you enjoyed today's episode at least a little and got a little insight into my inner thoughts, my heart today. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate this community. Like I said at the beginning, these type of episodes are just as important and healing for me as they are for somebody who needed to hear this today, truly. So thank you. I'll talk to you guys next time.